Welcome to the 2019 Pavement Management Program Special Assessment Informational Presentation. If you're viewing this presentation online via the city website, you will see that there are 3 videos highlighted to choose from. The first video will address adjusted front footages and how they are calculated. The second video will discuss calculating assessments. And the third video will discuss assessment payment options. In calculating assessments, the way that is done is the first thing we do is determine the actual project cost, and then we divide the cost of the project into categories or improvements. So for the 2019 PMP project, surfacing and curb and gutter are the improvements that are subject to assessment for parcels adjacent to the project area. So we would determine the cost of both those improvements, and then from that we would determine a 100% rate for each of those improvements. So what that 100% rate would equal would be, that would be the cost that would need to be assessed to the adjacent properties to cover the entire cost of that improvement. However, the City of Bloomington's assessment policy is to assess single-family and two-family homes at a rate of 25% of that 100% rate, and that is based on a cost per foot. And all other properties are assessed at a 50% rate, and that is cost per foot. And that cost per foot is the adjusted front footage. The remaining balance of the project is covered through citywide property taxes. So in calculating the assessment rates for the 2019 PMP project, the first thing we would do would be to total the adjusted front footages of all parcels that were subject to a surfacing assessment. As you can see for this year, that 2019 project, that came out to be just under 38,000 feet of adjusted front footage. We would do the same exercise for the curb and gutter for all parcels subject to a curb and gutter assessment, and based on that, we come out with a total just under 29,000 feet. You may be wondering why these two numbers are different. The reason being is per the City of Bloomington's assessment policy, all parcels that are adjacent to a street being reconstructed are subject to a surfacing assessment. Whereas for curb and gutter, parcels are only subject to an assessment for that work the initial time it's installed. So if your street had curb and gutter in place prior to the 2019 PMP project, you would not be subject to a curb and gutter assessment with this project. However, if your street did not have curb and gutter installed and it was installed for the first time as part of this 2019 PMP project, you would be subject to an assessment for that curb and gutter as well. So the total surfacing cost for the 2019 PMP came in at just over $3.6 million. And for the total curb and gutter cost, that cost came in at just over $2.5 million. So to determine that 100% rate I spoke of earlier, what we would do is take that total cost of the improvement, so we'll start with the surfacing, divided by the total number of feet of parcels, adjusted front footages for all parcels subject to that assessment. And from that, we would come out with a 100% rate of $96.02 per foot. We would do the same exercise for the curb and gutter, taking that total improvement cost divided by the total number of feet of parcels subject to that assessment. And from that, we determined that 100% rate at $107.01 per foot. As I mentioned previously, the city does not assess at the 100% rate. We do assess at a 25% rate for single and two-family homes, and for all other properties are assessed at that 50% rate. So this slide just shows how those numbers were calculated. So again, for that single and two-family, taking that 100% rate and taking 25% of that, we get $24.01 per foot for surfacing. For all other properties, the 50% rate, that comes out to $48.01 per foot. Doing the same exercise with the curb and gutter, again, taking that 100% rate and 25% of that for the single and two-family homes, we come out with a rate of $26.75 per foot. For all other properties assessed at that 50% rate, that comes out to $53.51 per foot. And these are the rates that are multiplied by the adjusted front footages for your individual parcels, and that determines the total assessment that each property will see for that individual improvement. In conclusion, there will be a public hearing held at the City Council meeting on Monday, October 5th, prior to the assessment roll going before the Council for approval. If you would like to view or participate in the meeting, you can visit the city website on the address shown there. This is a virtual meeting due to the pandemic. We will not be meeting in person, so information on how to view or participate or testify virtually in front of the City Council can be found at the city website listed on the screen. If you have any additional assessment-related questions, you can feel free to contact myself, Brian Hansen, at the information shown on the screen. If you have any construction-related questions, you can contact Cecilio Santana, who is the project engineer, and he can be reached using the contact information, again, shown on the screen. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.